Great. Hello and welcome to the Arts and Culture Commission meeting on December 20th, 2018. We have a roll call, please.
Commissioners Derhovanesian.
Here.
Zadorian.
Here.
Vice Chair Vidor.
Here.
Chairperson Sahakian.
Here.
For the record, Commissioner Oshigan is not present.
Next item, please.
The agenda for the December 20th meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside City Hall on December 14th, 2018. Item 2, consent items. At 2A, approval of regular meeting minutes from November 15th, 2018.
Any questions or comments? And we'll entertain a motion if we're ready.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 15, 2018.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioners Derhovanesian.
Abstain.
Zadorian.
Yes.
Vice Chair Vidor.
Yes.
Chairperson Sahakian.
Yes.
Item 3, introductions and presentations. At 3A, Library Arts and Culture events presented by Chuck White, Community Relations Manager.
Good afternoon, Chair Sahakian, Commissioners, City staff. I'll give you a brief rundown of what's coming up here in the month of December. It's almost the end. Before I start, I was going to start with the brand, but I also want to say that our Reflect Space gallery is holding another really interesting exhibition. It's called Incarceration Nation, and it's about what they're calling the United States Prison Industrial Complex. So we have a number of artists, some who are incarcerated, some who have been incarcerated, doing a study of, kind of an artistic study of prisons and prison life. So that goes on through February 10th. So I'll come back again next month and give you a little rundown on that.
Might I say, Gary Shaffer, Director, Library Arts and Culture, that the exhibition is timely. The exhibition can be controversial. We might remind ourselves that the point of Reflect Space is to focus on man's inhumanity against man, so and to bring about conversation, and so this exhibition is definitely doing that. I might also add that I believe it's the first time we're using VR, or virtual reality, and you should definitely check out the virtual reality portion of the exhibition. If you've never experienced that kind of technology or use, it's pretty amazing, and I'll leave it at that until you experience it. It's difficult to describe.
Very good. At Brand Library, they continue through January 11th with their Nexus 2 exhibition. It's a group show. Coming up, January 26th through March 22nd, I'm just going to give you the highlights of this because you want to put January 26th down. That's the opening reception for Valley Girl Redefined. And that program at Brand Library, again, it's a group exhibition. These are women artists who are the new architects of the Valley Girl. And the Valley Girl, like the San Fernando Valley itself, cannot be contained in the stereotype. However, it can be argued that any Valley Girl sense of self has been informed by the cinematic ideal imposed on them. I think you're gonna find a lot of fun. This is definitely a female-centric kind of exhibition, but we're looking forward to that. Just another in the string of really fine exhibitions at Brand Library. Ask me about this last month. We were promoting our millions of streaming audio files that you can get with your library card through the library. We're also promoting Libby, which is a reading app. We have a couple of them. Basically, if you spend a lot of money on books, you probably know by now, we've been trying to drill this into everybody, that you can get free books at the library. But we also have ebooks and books on tape, books on CD, and streaming books. So there's just a variety of ways to read and enjoy good stories, but we're getting the word out about that. Oh, there's Incarceration Nation. I did have it in there. Ara, unfortunately, isn't here. He's one of the artists involved. This, again, at Reflect Space at the Central Library through February 10th. It's very brief today. It's the end of the month. It's the end of the year. We've had a very good year. We've accomplished quite a bit. It's been fun working with you. I look forward to seeing you again in January on what is the 17th of January at our next meeting.
Thank you for the presentation, Chuck. And do we have any questions or comments from
I
Commissioner?
have a comment, just I wanted to say that whatever we see at the brand exhibits and presentations is phenomenal. It is really cultural. It is something that I'm proud as a citizen of Glendale to say that. We are offering that to the community, and it is free of charge, and it entices many groups of people. It really hugs or approves or accepts all different cultural groups and issues that are in the community. It is such a great pride that we have Brand, and with Brand Associates also in collaboration with the city, whatever is presented there is something to be cherished. I need to thank City and Brand Associates as well.
Thank you for that.
If I can make a comment?
Yes, Commissioner.
I had a chance to go to Incarceration Nation. I think it was on the opening night on the 14th, where Anahit Oshagan was present, Wang, Tomasian, and several of the library staff and people involved. And it was a great experience. I really enjoyed. It was actually my first time at the Reflect Space seeing an exhibit, and I thought it was incredible. And the virtual reality was probably my favorite part of it. It was very interesting. I don't want to obviously ruin it for anybody, but you're inside of a prison cell, and you're literally living within this cubicle, and to just like, you're really in the library, but in the virtual reality, you're in like a 4x4 room with a bed, like a cot and all of that. So it's a great experience. Everybody should definitely go check it out. I'm not sure when it was there till, did we know when it ends? Oh, February 10th. So it was definitely incredible. Everybody should try to go and see that. It really only took about 20 to 30 minutes, but it was very enjoyable, and I'm very thankful that we have that for viewing at the moment.
Great, thank you. Great. Next comment, please, or next item, please.
Item 4, oral communications. Discussion is limited to items not on this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. The commission may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. The commission may refer the matter to city staff for investigation and report.
Great, and we have one card from someone we all know very well. Please join us, Elisa Glickman with Glendale Arts.
Chair Sahakian, I've never said that before. Members of the commission, members of city staff, my name is Lisa Glickman. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Glendale Arts. We manage the Alex Theater as well as a host of community programs such as the Open Arts and Music Festival. I'm here today because I wanted to congratulate you on completing your urban plan and your work plan getting approved this week. All of us at Glendale Arts just finished our own strategic plan, so we know how daunting that can be, especially when you are including as many voices with as many opinions as we all have in the community. And we're very excited that this project is moving forward, and there's a game plan for the Arts and Urban Fund. It's our hope that over the next couple of meetings, we'll be able to have more of a presence at this meeting, talking a little bit more about what Glendale Arts is doing and what we're up to, how well the Alex Theater is going. For example, in the last 3 months, we've been booked over 75 days with some tremendous exposure on NBC and the CW, and just wonderful performances. and we're starting to plan for our Open Arts and Music Festival. And one of our goals is that we can continue to work very closely with the Arts and Culture Commission, since our Open Arts and Music Festival was created as a signature event in partnership with the commission. And we're really looking to the commission and Library Arts and Culture to assist us in really making our visual arts component of the festival a little bit more purposeful, a little bit more meaningful, and to have a life beyond that event itself. So you will probably, I feel sorry for this, but you'll probably see my face a little bit more often in the next couple of weeks with some exciting news and exciting plans, and hopefully some vision for how we can partner moving forward on that. So again, congratulations. It's a wonderful way to start the new year with a new game plan, and let us know how we can help as your partners and colleagues in this fight to make the arts more purposeful and important in our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Elisa. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
Next item, please.
Is there
Can I
any
make a comment there?
yeah, any comment?
Yes. I would like to say the other one that we cherish in the city of Glendale is Glendale Arts and Alex Theater. It's an icon. It maps, it puts Glendale on the map. As I've said a million times, I would repeat again, that anything you hear outside on TV, on radio, that Alex Theater and the Glendale Arts, what they perform and present and they bring to the community, makes Glendale known all over as well. So hopefully, not regretfully, we will see your face more often, or my colleagues will see your face, and we'll have a better collaboration, because what you offer is great. Thank you.
Thank you. And you've always been a tremendous supporter of what we do, and thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
And I also would like to echo that, and I guess to quote a movie, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. And
What a great movie to quote.
yeah, and we look forward to seeing much more of you.
Thank you, Commissioner Vidor.
Glickman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elisa. Next item, please.
Item 5, business agenda. At 5A1, motion to recommend that the City Council accept a gift of artwork, Languish for Wisdom, to the City of Glendale by artist Shenping Wang.
Commissioner Sahakian, Commissioners, according to the city art donation policy that's included in your packet, the artwork titled Languish for Wisdom by artist and Glendale resident Shenping Wang meets the standards for aesthetic quality or relation to the city of Glendale. Staff recommends that the Arts and Culture Commission make a recommendation to City Council to accept the artwork. There's a brief summary. This piece of art was offered to the city and really to the library by the artist. He's an LA area artist. He was born in China. He's done a bunch of work here in the United States since moving here. The description of the painting does omit an appraisal. The artwork will need to be appraised before we go to council. But it is your purview to evaluate the proposed artwork and make a recommendation of the City Council whether or not to accept it.
Is this, I have a couple questions. I'm interested to know, the context of this artist and his piece of work, and, in particular, why he is donating it to Glendale and specifically the library, I think. Not just the city of Glendale in general, so it will be on display in a library, in one of our libraries. And so a little more background on his interest in doing that, and also what the mixed media on canvas. Okay, I was wondering, I see the picture, it's obviously a really beautiful piece of work, but just, what it's made of, what its texture is, is it hanging free? Is it framed? Just a little more on the visuals, and if you have any slides, it would be great to see those.
Chair Sahakian and members of the commission. The artist is a local Glendale resident. He actually donated a piece to the South Pasadena Library, and it is displayed there, and asked himself, why not my own library where I live and enjoy the library with my family. So he had reached out to city councilor and was put in touch with me. And as you can see, it's a beautiful work of art. It is contextual to a library, and so he's offering that at no cost to us. And we will assess the work to see whether it needs framing and whatnot, or if it is already framed.
Conservation.
Yeah.
Will we be looking at and commenting on where the proper location for the piece is, or will that be decided internally by staff?
Likely decided internally by staff. Staff have already kind of vetted the building and where a good place that is where it will be seen by many people would be.
Any additional questions, comments, commissioners? If there are none, I'll just say that, it's, obviously this is before us because I think staff has already determined that they would like to see this in our library, but I think it's great that it's coming from a local resident as well. So there's a good opportunity to support our residents. So if there are no additional questions, we can entertain a motion on this item.
I'd like to make a motion to recommend City Council accept the gift of artwork, Languish for Wisdom.
And I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Commissioners Hovhannissian,
Yes.
Zadorian,
Yes.
Vice Chair Vidor,
Yes.
Chairperson Sahakian.
Yes. Next item, please.
Item B, discussion item. At B1, Creative California Communities Grant Initiative.
Chair Sahakian, Commissioners, City staff, actually, as related at the November 15th Arts and Culture Commission, staff is applying for a Creative California Communities Grant Initiative. That indeed could have a lasting impact on the arts and culture scene of Glendale. And we have our principal administrator, Maria Sundin, who will speak to that.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'll get closer. We were directed to this grant opportunity by the city manager, Yasmin Beers, as an opportunity for us to collaborate with the arts community and the Economic Development Department to apply for this grant through the California Arts Council. It specifically focuses on placemaking and building community around the idea of arts and arts installations. The maximum amount of the grant is $150,000. The requirement of that grant is that it has matching funds. So we are currently in the process of exploring what those matching funds opportunities might be, as well as identifying what the arts installations and what that might look like. So a little background on some of that. Approximately 3 months ago, I started meeting with the different arts organizations to build a collaborative roundtable community group around which the arts organizations could collaborate. So this is something that's been in the works for quite some time. When the grant was presented to us, I thought it was an opportunity to present to them as partners to help us create this place-based arts event and apply for the grant. So this was presented to them last Thursday, and the arts organizations that we included were Glendale Arts, ACE 121, Mona, Antias Theater, and the Glendale Center Theater, all of which are verified nonprofit organizations, institutions with histories in the city of Glendale who have not only nonprofit status, but staff and links to other arts groups and individuals within the community. So we started there, and we presented this opportunity to them. So right now I've been working very closely with our director, Gary Shaffer, as well as the Economic Development Department to define what this grant might be and how we're going to incorporate these arts organizations. I've asked them to submit to us ideas for arts installations that they could contribute, that they felt would be representative of creating place and building community, and I've asked them to submit that to us by December 28th of this month. So they're working very intently on coming up with ideas. And the criteria of this grant is really they wanted the artists to come forward with the ideas so that it wouldn't be imposed on them, that it would come more organically from the arts community. That being said, there was an initial idea that was presented through the city manager's office that was around the concept of an international bazaar, which would feature it would be modeled after kind of the night markets that you've seen around Southern California, to really showcase the area that's been identified as the Arts and Entertainment District. So building on that theme, we came up with the International Bazaar concept. 3 ideas were vetted. The city manager approved the International Bazaar concept. And really that was a skeletal concept of where it's going to be, which would be ArtSoc from the library all the way up to Wilson, and the alleyways that run between, that's parallel to that, as well as up to Orange, where the Center Theater and Antaeus run to. So I think it's a good encapsulation of the Arts and Entertainment District already that the city's working toward. So we're just really building on that. We've also received the proposal from the Economic Development Department from the accepted contractor, which is Studio 111, and they'll be working with them to build out the Arts and Entertainment District. So we've seen kind of their proposal and their plan, and we're really hoping to build on the Urban Arts and Program Plan, the ideas from the city, the presentation from Studio 111, and really building on that to create this grant application. So it's a full-fledged concept that's really building a lot of momentum. So we wanted to give you some idea of what we're working on and keep you apprised of how that's proceeding. The deadline is January 9th, so it's like tomorrow, or it feels like tomorrow to me. So we'll be working on it. Although I do have the week off, I will be working on it at home in my Mickey Mouse pajamas probably, and get a lot of it done. I'm really excited about it. I think it's a great opportunity, and I'm presenting it to you not only to share that, but also hopefully to garner support from the commission about the events. And part of that, it does ask for matching funds, and I would imagine that would be a good opportunity to invest some of the work plan funding that's been approved into a program such as this. So I hope that works out well for you. I think that's a pretty fair summary. I don't know if you have any questions.
Thank you for the presentation. Any questions or comments from commissioners? Yes.
Where does the Arts and Culture Commission come into this? Because basically, when the city manager has approved and has foreseen all the needed details, the other component that we constantly have talked about is not finally just to report it to us, but to be sharing and to be a part of it, the commission and the commissioners. Now, be it as having 1 or 2 of the commissioners appointed to the meetings and discussions, or the whole commission being part of, I would really like to see that happening, because I think that's our job also to be part of.
No, I agree. I think that's a good point. And one thing I did mention was bringing forward as we progress how things are moving along. So I could certainly distribute a communication. I don't think we're at the point where we can include commissioners at the meeting. We're still developing a narrative, but once a draft narrative is developed, that might be a good opportunity for us to share it with the commission. I'm not sure what the appropriate way to do that would be, but maybe you have some thoughts on that.
Chair Sahakian, members of the commission, I would agree that we want to fully engage with you on these ideas. At this point, we are going to need a lot of help with it. Once we assemble it, it is in a sense just a top-line report that goes into it. Should we be granted the grant, we will definitely need your assistance and guidance at that point as well. But the idea is really looking at it's, in a sense, ties in with the work plan as far as arts in your neighborhood. ArtSoc Paseo is a arts destination, so it is an area that we would certainly want to focus on. And it's really, Maria did an excellent job, but one thing that we would like to build on is the success of the Dia de los Muertos event. And so this would be an evening event to bring people from all over Glendale, but potentially then and then at other times of the year, perhaps in coinciding with the Lunar New Year, just anything we can do to bring active placemaking into the city with an arts component and also tying in our arts partners throughout the city. So.
I hope it definitely means that for the quality and the texture of what is going to be. I know that the structure, the foundation, everything needs to be, it's a business part of the deal that needs to be done and taken care of by staff and etc. But I think the job of the commission and the commissioners is, after all, we'll go years back and say, oh, those were the years we were involved, and God knows why that happened. I hope that would not be the case. If we are appointed to this position, it is for the texture and the quality of what is being decided and chosen. And anyone here on the dais is capable and very, whatever in that area. So hopefully that would be part of it, because that is the part that the whole plan that we had was to include Arts and Culture Commission in decisions as such. Anything that has to do, any form for art or culture, the commission would be involved. We are the advisory group appointed to do that. We are not staff. So we need to make sure that we take care of that part. So later on we won't feel guilty, the same as like Commissioner Oshagan is constantly cringing when we talk about certain things that we have in the city, and he is surprised how come we were, kind of the city has allowed, or the whatever organizations have put certain things there. So kind of we would really request and appreciate meanwhile that Commission would be really a major part of any of such decisions.
Point well taken. Thank you.
Right. No, absolutely. I think that that's a good point, and I think as our director just mentioned, if we were to be granted this, it might be an opportunity for you to discuss among yourselves which liaison commissioner would be a person to appoint to the planning committee. So that would be an opportunity to be included there.
I have a question. I get the general gist of the grant, and I think it's fantastic. I'm so excited that we're even pursuing grants that bring the arts and entertainment district members, key members together. I'm not sure I totally understand the role of Studio 111 and what is their role, what are they doing, and how does the commission link with their activities, whatever is relevant.
ACE 121 or Studio 111 or the
Studio 111.
Oh, well, they that is the firm that's been approved as part of building out the arts and entertainment district by the City of Glendale. So we know that that's a plan that the city's been directed to follow or chosen to follow, and so we certainly don't want to conflict and develop a plan outside of what the city's paying them to do. So we want to make sure that our plans in terms of the grant are aligned with what the city's goals are. And I don't know necessarily, I haven't seen any proposals. I've just seen their proposal to respond to the RFP, but I will say there was no mention of any specific arts. They had a team put together, and they would work with the city once a contract was signed. That contract isn't scheduled to be signed until January after the grant's been submitted. So timing-wise, it's challenging because we really can't say, what have you decided? Can we align with that? So we're going to have to work tandem, hand in hand with what they've been hired to do so that we are working all in alignment. And that includes the commission, the Studio 111, and the arts groups and part of this grant. So that's all I know.
And with respect to Commissioner DeHovanessian's comments, I guess I would hope also that we would have visibility to, I know we're talking about hardscape here and actually urban design, but it's very much linked to the flourishing of the arts in the community. I mean, it's that particular strip is the center of our arts community here, so I would hope that Studio 111 would be presenting at some time to the commission and getting our feedback on what they're doing, or at least want to hear what we have to say about it. But, maybe that's I don't think you're involved in that, so it's not really a question you can address. I just wanted to bring it up.
We can certainly forward the request to the Economic Development Department and any other departments working with them.
That would be great.
And also just to add on to this as well, just to remind my colleagues as well, that Jennifer McLean with the Economic Development Department did reach out to our commission and ask for an appointee to serve on the selection committee or the interview panel that did select Studio 111 or recommended to council Studio 111. And so I did serve in that capacity, as I've shared in the past as well. So I think from the start of the project, I think the city has clearly shown that they want the commission to be part of the process. And there is a public art component, public art consultants that are on the project as well. And so I'm sure as they're doing their community outreach and developing their own planning committees, I'm sure the commission will be kept in the loop along the way as well.
That's great.
I have a question. I want to make sure that my colleagues discuss this with council members that have appointed them, because I want them to be in the whole process from the beginning, because with the work plan, we noticed that there were times that later on there were lots of questions and kind of it dragged for quite a while till we got the results, because somehow they were not very well informed. So I hope our council members are ahead of time, familiar with all the components of this program that is being put together. And so later on, we would have a smoother ride into getting whatever needs to be done.
That's good. Good to know. Thank you.
And would be appreciated. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any additional comments? I'll just, to wrap it up, I think the word placemaking is very important, and I think even as our commission has expressed a lot of interest in doing programming and events in Arts Off Paseo, and you mentioned it as well, Director Shaffer, but Dia de los Muertos was the event I was thinking about as you were presenting the project, because it was, you walked into that space and you felt like you left Glendale. You were in a different world altogether, and you were immersed in the culture and the traditions and the festivities, and that's the type of, I think, level of event we want happening in Glendale, all over Glendale, but specifically in Arts Off Paseo as well. So, and I think as a commission, we've also discussed how do we go beyond the Urban Art Fund and tap into other sources for funds to support arts programming. So, I appreciate the presentation, and I'm sure you'll keep us in the loop as we go forward, but we're excited to see what's to come.
And we very much appreciate all your work on this and securing additional funding for urban arts in Glendale.
Thank you.
Ditto.
Thank you. I believe that's not an action item, right? Great. So I think we're ready for next item.
Item 6, commission staff comments. I have one.
We're all lined up. We're all queued up.
Okay, mine is very short, just as usual. Maybe I sound a little bit like a cheerleader, but it's a fact that our library, Central Library, has become the talk of the town, because everybody talks about how beautiful it is, how welcoming it is, how it has balanced that part of the city, how we have really made that part of the city really where the whole community participates. So we had Americana for entertainment, now we have the cultural component on the other side. It's a fantastic balance to have there, the lighting, the whole thing. Truly, everybody talks about how wonderful the decision that the city has made is phenomenal, and the way they have proceeded with it. It is something to be proud of. Before, we only looked at the brand library and whatever we could offer there. Now, Central Library at the focused area, it is phenomenal. So it needs to be shared with those who are watching us, and to make sure that we are so grateful for having that. It's a beautiful, culturally welcoming, excellent situation.
Well, and we very much appreciate the City Council, mayors of past and present, and also city staff that have made that, realize that vision. So thank you. We'll make sure to pass that on to them.
Commissioner Vittori?
Okay. Well, same thing. At the end of the year here, I'd love to extend my thanks not only to my fellow commissioners, it's great working with all of you, but also to the staff, and having you on board. Dr. Shaffer is really wonderful, and everybody in this room, Maria, Nikki, Chuck, Yvonne, Mike, everybody is really, fantastic to work with. And I think all of this dedication shows a lot in the quality and types of things that are done in our library system and in our arts programs. I mean, we're just starting out with this, and I know it's going to be really exciting. I think at the, celebrating what just happened at City Council the other night, my fast forwarding now to the beginning of the year when all the hoopla is over and we get down to work, I know we still have a position coming up that will be described and put out there, but right now we're going to be really dependent on having a consultant help. So I have a rhetorical question. It doesn't have to be answered, and the question in my mind is, you know, is the staff, with all you have to do, prepared to really focus on helping to get that application process and all the outreach that's going to be needed completed so that we can essentially launch the plan? And, you know, I'm concerned because I know that everybody is working extremely hard, and there is some little bit of tension there with the amount of staff that's on board. I think getting that application out is going to be very exciting, and hopefully we'll get a great pool of potentials. I think that we did an unprecedented amount of public outreach during the development phase of the urban art plan, and I'd like to suggest that in the new year, once the application process is complete and we're kind of in launch mode, is that we hold another public outreach and give the members of the two advisory committees and the hundreds and hundreds of people who worked with us on Co-Urbanize, as well as came to public meetings, an opportunity to reconnect with the arts program and get to know what's happened, what the plan looks like, where it's going from here, and generate that community excitement again. You know, I know we're going to have a lot of great web materials and printed materials, but we also need to make sure that we keep these people fired up and get even more people involved. So hopefully we can do that. I don't know if it's possible, but it's something I really hope we, as a collective unit, the staff and the commission, can consider doing something like that. You know, people don't always read the proceedings of what's going on, and a number of people who were involved at the beginning have come to me and said, what's happening, what's happening? And they know, I think, that the approval came in, but, you know, if we can reconnect with them, that would be really great. So anyway, I'm just very excited about what's coming. So that's why I want to fire up the community. And just two quick more things. I'd like to thank my colleagues at the brand for being so helpful. The staff there is so wonderful, and so many great things have happened and will happen there. And also, I'd like to just give a shout out to my friend in the Adams Hill community, Kathy Herenda, who did a beautiful, I hope you all get down there to see it before it's taken out on the 8th of January. She did a beautiful kinetic sculpture in the gas station, and also utilized the community and the students of John Muir School to help put the exhibit together. So it was really a great effort. This is the 4th year in a row she's done it, and I just want to invite the public to come down there and see that. So, Happy New Year.
Thank you, Commissioner Vidor.
Sure.
I'd like to start off by saying thank you for, first of all, making me very comfortable. This was my first year on the commission. It hasn't been a full year, but I want to go into the new year feeling like I'm not a newcomer anymore. So thank you for accepting me and kind of helping me along the way when I've had questions, or if something might have been done incorrectly or whatever it might have been. I'd also like to thank the staff for everything you guys have done. I'm so happy about the work plan and that it was approved. You guys did an incredible job. I'm very happy that I was there and I got to see it happen in person with my fellow Commissioner Vidor. It was incredible to see kind of, it seems to me, because I'm new, that everything is just going into movement very quickly. I feel like this year, you know, the museum's being approved. Artsakh Paseo is now like becoming this a very lively place for everybody to come together. There's so many great events happening. So I'm just very excited to see where this new year is going to take us. So I'd like to thank staff. I'd like to thank council for approving the work plan, and my fellow commissioners for helping me along the way and getting very comfortable. I feel very at home here, so thank you. And Happy New Year and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Commissioner Zadorian. Lastly, you know, I'll first start off by thanking my colleagues and thanking staff. You know, in the past year, we passed the Urban Art Program Plan that Council adopted earlier in the year, and in the last week, we got to the finish line and passed our 2019-2020 work plan. Thank you to our council members for their support of the arts. As Commissioner Zadorian said, now is the exciting time because we get to do things and we get to support lots of different arts programs and artists in Glendale. And there are a lot of great things in the work plan that I'm very excited about. But I think one of the biggest changes, which I think we, even as a commission, we might be underestimating, but the democratization of the process, because I think we're going to be opening it up so that any arts organization, any artist all year long is going to be able to submit proposals to us, where it is not limited to just the ideas that are at this dais, but we're going to be able to hear from our arts community and have a process for evaluating and making decisions for what types of additional things we can support, and I'm very excited about that. So very excited for 2019. So to our residents and our audiences, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays, and we wish everyone a great new year, and we'll see everyone in 2019. And thank you again to staff and colleagues. Appreciate serving alongside all of you.
And I just have two
Yes,
items.
and please, we'll go to staff comments as well.
Number one, as has been alluded to many times during the meeting, on December 18th, I'm happy to report that the City Council approved the Arts and Culture Work Plan. Just have to officially put that on the record and thank them very much for passing that 5-0. We very much appreciate that. And next up, a big thank you to all 5 of the commissioners. You all serve in a volunteer capacity, and we greatly appreciate you fulfilling not only your civic duty, but choosing to fulfill it in this way, and being a part in helping library arts and culture transform Glendale really into an arts destination. So thank you all for your service, and it's very much appreciated, and we look forward to seeing you all in the new year.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Item 7, written communications.
And we have none, and I believe we are adjourned. Thank you.
Happy holidays, all of us, let's say together, huh?